think I just heard that. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Public Information Center for the Clarington Parks Recreation Culture Master Plan. The purpose of tonight's session is to provide an opportunity for us to introduce the master plan to the public and to provide you with an overview of the project and get your input to be considered as the master plan is being developed. So we have a bit of a presentation to walk you through the master plan process before we get into the discussion. But before we do that, I'd like to turn it over to Sarah, who will be speaking to the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Dennis. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Allen. I'm a planner with the Municipality of Clarington in the Planning and Infrastructure Services Department, and I am happily involved in the Parks Recreation Master Plan for Clarington. So before we begin, I'd just like to share with you the municipality's land acknowledgement statement. So the Municipality of Clarington is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas and Chippewas of the Anishinaabe, known today as the Williams Treaties First Nations. Our work today on these lands acknowledges their resilience and their longstanding contributions to the area now known as the Municipality of Clarington. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So we'd like to begin by first introducing the project team for the master plan. So from the municipality side, you just heard from Sarah Allen, and she is leading the team, a team of staff from the municipality to provide support for the master plan. And joining her in tonight's session, I believe Melissa Westover is also in this session, and she's the communications officer for the municipality, who has also been helping to promote the master plan. And they're here really to listen in on the conversation tonight. On the consulting team side, we have Monteith Brown Planning Consultants, who is leading the team, and that includes myself. So I'm Dennis Kwan, senior planner with the firm, and joining me in the session tonight as well as Todd Brown. He's the the president and principal planner of our firm. Also on our team is Watson and Associates economists and Tucker Reed and Associates. So we've worked in many communities across Ontario, and we've worked extensively in Clarington before on past projects related to parks and recreation. So we're excited to be back in the community for the master plan. So Clarington is preparing a Parks Recreation Culture Master Plan, and it's to guide future decisions over the next 10 to 15 years. So the master plan will be taking a long-term look at community needs in a number of areas, including indoor recreation facilities, outdoor parks and recreation facilities, cultural and library facilities, as well as programs and service delivery. The master plan is very much a community-driven plan. So for it to be successful, we want to hear from the community. So we hope that you'll help us by participating in tonight's discussion. And we also have a community survey running. So if you haven't completed it yet, we certainly encourage you to complete the survey. You can reach it by visiting claringtonconnected.ca /PRCMP. So you can see that link on the screen now. And if you complete the survey, you do have the option to be entered into a draw for a chance to win a prize. So there's a couple options for prizes, including an Apple Watch, 1-year swim and skate membership, or a Clarington swag bag. So if you feel more comfortable completing the survey by hand, you can also pick up a hard copy survey at any community facility or library. And the deadline for the survey is December 15th. So you still have quite a bit of time to complete that survey. You can also email your comments to us at prc@clarington.net, or drop off your comments to any facility or library. And we're open to accepting comments throughout the master plan process. We initiated the master plan in July of this year, undertaking background research. So we're now in phase 2 of the master plan that began in November. and we're undertaking a number of community engagement tactics to hear from the public. So this includes in-person and online public input sessions, community survey, as I mentioned, and we're also engaging community stakeholders, staff, and council. So once the consultation has been completed, we'll be coming to council with our background and consultation findings before we move into the assessing needs and developing the draft master plan in phases 3 and 4. So once the draft master plan has been completed, there will be additional opportunities for community engagement to test recommendations, which will be undertaken in phase 5 before the plan is finalized in September of 2024. So the planning process has really just begun, so we don't have any recommendations yet. So we're really in that data collection period and engaging the public. So the master plan is a community-based plan. It's tailored to Clarington. So as part of the background research, we've reviewed existing studies and background documents. We've reviewed trends in parks and recreation culture. We've examined Clarington's parks and facility inventory, as well as looked at usage data as well to understand what are the current capacity levels. We've also reviewed Clarington's community profile to understand who lives in the community now and who may live here in the future, as well as how the community is growing and where, as well as changes in age, ethnicity, and income and other demographic factors. Community input is also important as a part of the process, and we've been engaging residents through those in-person and online input sessions, community surveys, and workshops with staff, stakeholders, and counselors. Parks, recreation, and culture facilities and programs and services are used by residents of all ages and backgrounds. So understanding Clarington's community profile was an important part of the process. Clarington's population is about 116,000 residents, and the community is projected to grow by about 40% to 162,000 residents by 2036. So in terms of where growth is expected to occur, the majority of population growth is expected to occur in Bowmanville, as well as in Curtis and Newcastle, particularly through your designated growth areas through residential intensification. The Clarington's population is also an aging population. The municipality's older adults and seniors have been experiencing the most growth, but it'll be also important for the master plan to consider needs for all age groups, as well as all groups in the community, as the municipality will continue to diversify in terms of cultural background, income, and physical ability as well. So there are a number of trends that we're seeing that will impact how Clarington provides parks, recreation, and cultural opportunities. And this slide really highlights some of the trends that we're seeing across the province. So I spoke earlier about how Clarington is growing and its population is evolving, which will certainly impact the types of facilities and programs that residents are interested in. And to accommodate future population growth, Clarington, like other communities, are experiencing residential intensification within those key growth areas. So we can expect that there will be pressure for parks, recreation, and cultural space and activities within these areas. Parks and facilities are also aging in many communities, and there are needs for renewal from many perspectives, such as age, safety, and the ability to meet modern expectations. Or in some cases, facilities may need to be repurposed to respond to other needs. Public parks and recreation spaces can play a role in being more environmentally sustainable, with consideration given to things like the use of green infrastructure, such as trails and pollinator gardens, as well as increasing tree canopies. With a growing population and finite land, an emphasis is being placed on indoor facilities that are more multi-use and multi-generational to create those community hubs where everyone can participate at a single destination. And parks are also becoming more multi-use, where people can use parks for active uses such as playing sports, but also for passive uses such as family gatherings and picnics. Well, there are also emerging facility demands for activities like pickleball and cricket that are creating pressure and expectations for municipalities to address emerging activities, as well as to continue providing what's currently available in the community. And creative and cultural spaces and library spaces are also important community assets for creative expression, learning, literacy, and providing safe spaces for residents, as well as special events. So Clarington has approximately 243 hectares of parkland, as well as 287 kilometers of trails and 34 kilometers of waterfront. So a lot of outdoor space, a lot of trails, and a lot of waterfront area. And through the master plan process, we'll be evaluating future park needs to ensure that the municipality has enough parkland to meet current and future needs. Or are there strategies that need to be considered to acquire new parkland, to address gap areas, or to renew aging parks to respond to changing neighborhoods? The municipality also has a wide range of indoor recreation facilities, including ice pads, swimming pools, gymnasiums, dedicated spaces for youth and older adults, a visual arts center, library branches, and other spaces. So through the master plan process, we'll be assessing needs to identify, is the municipality providing the right mix of facilities, or are there gaps or an oversupply? And how can the municipality respond to these future needs? Clarington also provides a range of outdoor recreation facilities, including sports fields, cricket pitch, ball diamonds, sport courts, playgrounds, skate parks, and skating rinks, and more. So the master plan will assess outdoor recreation facility needs, taking into consideration geographic distribution, usage levels, community input, and other factors to identify what the community needs are over the next 10 to 15 years. So that is a high-level overview of the master plan and context about Clarington. So at this point, I will stop the recording before we get into the discussion period.